statistical, mathematical fact
never has been down.
has broken every single record. There is no asset that has come close.
It's the only thing in the industry that was not touched, that was not hacked, and it never fails doing what it promised in 2009. It's never
What's
failed.
the best performing asset the world has ever seen? And you'll find out that it's Bitcoin.
Hello, Bitcoiners. Hello, traders. Hello, followers, supporters, community, haters, all of you. Welcome to another live space with Oliver Velez. Of course, my name is Oliver Velez, and I am that guy, that voice in the wilderness that pounds the table constantly on why we should all be stacking harder, why nothing else matters, or nothing else that's going on in the world matters, or nothing else going on with the USD denominated price of Bitcoin matters. I'm that voice that's trying to constantly help you ignore the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, all the narratives that claim to know something about Bitcoin and why it's not the very best technology that's been exposed to the human race throughout human history. I am that 4-decade experienced Wall Street trader who has been playing financial markets his whole life, trying to explain how and why Bitcoin has raised his or my level of sophistication about fiat currency and how fiat currencies are nothing more than a system designed to enslave the masses. For the first time in the history of humanity, opportunity, hope is available to every single human being on earth. Never in the history of mankind has that been the case. That opportunity, especially regarding wealth opportunities, have always been reserved for the elite. These opportunities have always been only accessible to the very few. Bitcoin has come on the scene in 2009 to bring about a wealth transfer, a paradigm shift, a global change that can benefit every single human being on earth. And I decided that once I had this epiphany that I would do my best to pound the table as hard as I possibly can, that I would shout from every microphone that was shoved in my face, from every podium, from every stage that I was given the privilege of speaking from, in every live session, online or offline, that I would spread this message. Bitcoin has had a profound effect on my life, despite the fact that I've done fairly well in the traditional system. I am blessed. I've managed to beat the system, some might consider. And yet still, Bitcoin had a lot to teach me, had a lot to show me. And in March of 2020, it helped me see Oz for what it is. The curtain was lifted and an epiphany took place. And so I today make a promise that's similar to a promise I made over 30 years ago. I promised 30 years ago that I would begin spreading the message of Wall Street, spreading the message of financial freedom and independence to the world. I was extraordinarily successful on Wall Street at a very early age. That success led me to starting my own firm in 1994. And with that firm, I dedicated myself to spreading the gospel of financial freedom. I was frustrated with what I saw on Wall Street during my relatively brief but successful career there. My 7 years on Wall Street showed me how elite the world of money was, how closed it was. It showed me how inaccessible it was to your average individual. But I was an average individual. I just managed to crack my way in. And I set out to try to change this. And I think that over the past 30 years that I've had some effect on doing that. I became the most sought after speaker and continue to be one of the most sought after speakers on the topic of trading markets for a living worldwide. Every single year, I travel multiple continents and am in scores of cities, spreading the gospel of financial freedom. I've been doing this for 30 years with my life. And I'm proud to say that I've helped tens of thousands of individuals raise their level of market sophistication all over the world, all walks of life. It was my dream to bring Wall Street to Main Street. What happened in 2020 was that dream got deepened by Bitcoin. Today, I continue to do the same. I will be in 4 different continents this year, 19 different cities. But a big portion of that message will be Bitcoin. I orange pilled 9,000 people, a little more than 9,000 people last year. I'm looking to dramatically up the number of those individuals whom I orange pill this year. So that is sort of who I am. I don't talk very much on X about my trading career, my market play. I try to keep the message here as pure as I can, as purely focused on Bitcoin as I can. I don't want the distractions of my trading career and the success that I've had, the books that I've written, the records I've broken, the books that are written about my career. I try not to focus on those things because I think that they will serve more as a distraction away from the message of Bitcoin than help the message of Bitcoin. But today, actually, guys, I did not plan to come to you live today, but I felt that it was a good time for us to touch base on what I call the benevolence of Bitcoin. You see, the people who are close to me, they will tell you, they know that I have, for the last several years, called every single decline, every single dip in Bitcoin a gift, even the large 2020 major bear market drawdown. You see, I believe that Bitcoin pulls back to give us a chance to do what we should have done when it was there before. I believe that these pullbacks and these dips in the USD denominated price of Bitcoin are nothing more than Bitcoin's sympathy. They are an indication of Bitcoin's benevolence. Bitcoin, in my mind, is freedom. And if you were to imagine Bitcoin as a freedom train, it spends a great deal of time sitting in the station with its engines revved and its doors open. It spends such a long time standing still often that people confuse that standing still as it being dead, as it being aloof, as it being not relevant. But this standing still of Bitcoin is nothing more than its attempt to say, will you come on board? Will you step on board the freedom train? When Bitcoin finally closes those doors, to continue with the train analogy, and takes off from that train like a freaking bullet, leaving behind scores of people on the platform that had the ability to get on the train, but was second guessing the train. They were looking at the train, but never got on the train. They were listening to other people around them talk about the train, but failed to get on the train. When Bitcoin closes the doors and takes off like a bullet, everyone on the platform feels as though they should have gotten on the train. That it is at that point that they feel somewhat depressed, dejected, depressed. Some people are so angry that they take a negative view of Bitcoin because the train has left them. But what Bitcoin almost always does is after it takes off like a bullet, showing you proof that it truly is freedom, that it's waiting for a long time at one price or at one train station for you, that was only its benevolence, only its gift, only its calling card for you. It often, very often, comes back for you. And when it comes back to the station and opens its doors again, its message is almost as if to say, now do you believe me? Now do you see where I'm going? Now do you see that this is freedom? Here is another opportunity. I've come back for you. I've opened the doors once again. Will you now get on? And what's really interesting is that despite the fact that this has happened for 15 years, that every single dip has been recouped and gone on to the moon. Every single bear market has ended and gone on to the moon. Every single pullback has halted and gone on to the moon, despite Bitcoin displaying this for 15 long years. Whenever it comes back for you, there are still people that say, I'm not quite sure about this thing. Despite seeing it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, the majority still will not get on the trains, will still not take full advantage of Bitcoin's benevolence. You see, I'm constantly telling my people, what more do you want? What more do you need? It's giving you a 15-year track record of recovering every single decline, every single dip, by a long shot. It's giving you 15 years and proven that it has broken every single financial record that we have a metric for. It is the best performing asset in a single hour in the history of the world. It has the number one record for being the best performing asset in a single day. It has the all-time worldwide record for being the best performing asset in a week. It just had its best month in the history of Bitcoin. It has the record for being the best performing asset ever in a single month. It has the record for being the best performing asset in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. What else do you need? What more do you need? Do you need another 15 years? Do you need another 2,000 dips to see? I've mentioned this over and over again. In my 40 years as a market participant, it has always been known that you can't fake 10 years. You see, you can't fake 10 years. I strived in my career to break the 10-year mark because people kept doubting me. People kept saying that what I accomplished was luck. And I was striving at the 5-year mark. I can't wait for 10 years to come. I was begging for 10 years to come at the 7-year mark, 7 years of success. And people still doubted me. People still said that what I had accomplished after 7 years was luck. I have been lucky for 43 years. People are still wishing me luck. Bitcoin has been successful for 15 years. It has come back from every drop, every decline, every single dip, every single time without fail. It has never been down once, not a single second, not a single glitch, not a single problem, not a single broken promise for the last 10 years. It is the best against every single thing that we have. It has broken every single record that we have. So what else are you looking for? Do you need 100 years of this? Do you need another 15 years? Like, have you established for yourself, well, if you are not on board the freedom train, have you at least established some type of measurement to determine when you will decide to step on it? Like, have you decided that, no, Oliver, I do need another 15 years? Well, then that's fair. It's fair that if you said, Oliver, I need 30 years. I know that throughout all of financial life, 10 years is enough, but I need 30 years. Well, then fine. At least you have something concrete to measure when to step on. But most people haven't stepped on. They don't know why they haven't stepped on. There's no formulated point at which they will decide to step on board the freedom train. They just blindly have it. And I believe that's a sin. Because I believe that Bitcoin has come to deliver the greatest wealth transfer the world has ever had or seen. And for the first time in humanity, this wealth transfer, this generational wealth opportunity is available to every single human being without permission. For the first time, it's not just in the hands of the elite. It's not just in the hands of the controller. It's not just in the hands of the kings, the emperors, the feudal lords, the political elite, the presidents, the dictators. For the first time, we have ground floor access. And so I wanted to come on with you live in the midst of a 15% dip to the downside inside of a day. Bitcoin is just doing what it always does. It's always coming back for you to say, if you feel like you've missed me, I'm back. I've come back to give you another chance. Will you come on board now? And I wanted to take this opportunity to drive home the point that this is nothing more than Bitcoin's benevolence. This is nothing more than a gift. I also think it's important for people to understand that you can drive yourself crazy on a day-to-day basis with this. Bitcoin, despite being 15 years old, is still a baby in the grand scheme of things. From a US dollar denominated price, it's still seeking price discovery. And volatility equals vitality. You see, we've been indoctrinated through the traditional financial industry to somehow adore the lack of volatility or the lack of vitality in exchange for the dead. We have been tricked to believe that the dead, that the slow, the lifeless is where we should be. And the only reason why we've been tricked to believe that is because the only markets that are not volatile are markets that are entirely controlled and manipulated. Free markets always have volatility. Bitcoin is free. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be manipulated. It cannot be played with by any human being on earth. It can't be halted. It can't be stopped by any human being or any entity or any power in existence today. And because of that freedom, it's vital. It's alive. It moves. And I, for one, love that about Bitcoin. I love the fact that it is alive and young and vibrant. A dead man is not volatile. A 95-year-old dead corpse doesn't move. But compare a dead man or a 95-year-old corpse with a 15-year-old vibrant adolescent. Weren't you just a bit more vibrant at 15 than you are today? Weren't you a bit more alive? Weren't you a bit more rambunctious? Didn't you have more energy? Didn't you move quicker? Didn't you get up and down the stairway a lot faster than your parents did or your grandparents did? That is not a negative. It wasn't a negative that you were more vibrant at 15 years old than you are at 45 years old. That was a plus. Bitcoin, in the grand scheme of things, is a baby. Let it be vibrant. Give it its opportunity to be alive. Now, I want to talk to you about, I have a few points that I want to make sure that I get, because I will go off the freaking deep end, guys, and I will forget these points that I want to make sure that I get across to you, because I'll talk your freaking ear off without ever getting to the points that I really want to get to. So I have to really protect myself against that sometimes. But so, I wanted to pound the table on this, on the fact that Bitcoin is the only true, honest, free market in the world today. You see, because no human being can influence it. No human being can control it. No human being can halt it or stop it in any way, guys. Anyone who's ever tried to do this with Bitcoin, to control it, to manipulate it, to halt its rise, to play games with it, anyone throughout the last 15 years who's tried to do this, they are all, 100% of them, they're either financially dead today, bankrupt, or in jail. And in some cases, all three. You don't survive trying to control this true, honest market. You don't live very long trying to hold it back, trying to halt it, trying to stop it, trying to manipulate it. Oh, you have the freedom to try. And you might get lucky for a very brief period of time. But at the end of the day, because you can't control this thing, it will destroy you. It will wreck you. If you think you've got it clocked, it is going to embarrass you. If you think that you know where its tops and its bottoms are, you are going to get embarrassed and ridiculed for the rest of your life. It can't be done because it's the only free market we have in the entire world. All markets are controlled. All markets are manipulated by men. They are not free, which means that all markets are not honest. The only honest market in existence today is Bitcoin. All other markets are not honest. I learned this very early in my career on Wall Street. I started in 1986. I immediately saw how unhonest, how dishonest the markets were. All markets are dishonest except Bitcoin. Now, let's take the stock market, my specialty, as an example. All right. The stock market has what is called circuit breakers. And I was actually working on Wall Street when circuit breakers were introduced to the stock market. These circuit breakers came into existence as a result of the 1987 crash. Now, let me explain to you what circuit breakers are, right? These things they're temporary measures that automatically halt trading when dramatic stock market declines occur. You see, they don't really try to halt the moves to the upside as much as they try to halt the moves to the downside. They don't want the system to collapse. So what they decided to do was put these circuit breakers, build these circuit breakers into the market. You didn't decide that. I didn't decide that. A group of men decided that we're going to protect our empire from collapsing. We're going to put circuit breakers into the equity market. We've got too much riding on the line here. And these circuit breakers are designed to halt trading in the market when dramatic declines occur. They're designed to prevent panic selling, and they're supposedly designed to restore market stability. All right. Now, there are two types of circuit breakers, right? There is the market-wide circuit breakers, like things on the broad indices, like the S&P 500 has circuit breakers. All right. And then there's the individual circuit breakers on individual stocks and ETFs and things of that nature. So you have these two types of circuit breakers. The broad circuit breakers work on the general exchanges. The S&P 500 cannot today drop more than 7% without the circuit breakers kicking in and halting all trading. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to get out of the market at that time. It doesn't matter whether you want to get into the market at that time. You have no choice. The market is not free. It's halted from anyone participating for at least a 15-minute period. These broad market circuit breakers occur at three levels right now. 7%. The market halts for 15 minutes, then comes back. And if it drops down to 13% from that 7%, it halts again. And if it drops to 20%, it halts and stays halted until the very next day. That's not a free market. That is basically, those things were built because the people who control this market are afraid of a free market. That is a controlled market. That is a manipulated market. We are not going to allow the people to destroy our empire, our wealth like this. We're going to stop them from acting after 7%, after 13%. And if it goes, and if we can't stop them at 20%, we're stopping them for the entire day. Let them sleep on it. That is controlled. That is manipulated. There is no freedom in that market. And you have these individual circuit breakers on individual stocks as well. If a stock drops too fast, 20% or whatever it is, it will halt trading. Now, there are always flowery words placed on the reasons for this. Well, we have the circuit breakers because we're trying to protect the public. No, buddy, you're trying to protect yourself. Since when are you trying to protect me? You're trying to protect yourself. This is why you won't let this market be free. This is why you won't let the free market determine where the price should be. Bitcoin is free. Bitcoin is honest. Bitcoin will drop to zero if nobody wants to come in and buy, and no one can do anything about it. Bitcoin can go to infinity if nobody wants to sell. And no, there's not a single human being or entity or government on planet Earth that will be able to stop it. In the same way that Bitcoin can drop without circuit breakers, without a man or a group of men deciding when enough is enough, it can also rally and rally and rally, and not a single human being living today, not a single entity or government will be able to stop it. Bitcoin is the freest market in the world. And by virtue of it being the freest market in the world, it is the most honest market we have today. I prefer honesty over manipulation. You can only have an unvolatile market if it's manipulated. You can only have a market that is controlled if it's manipulated. Markets, free markets, are not that way by nature. At points, they're volatile. At moments, they're volatile. And that volatility serves a very, very almost sublime purpose. The volatility keeps the players honest. You see, volatility only comes to a market when one side or the other get too far over their skis. And what a free market will do is say, wait a minute, you're too ahead of your skis right here. I'm checking you. And it will check you with volatility. If you get too greedy, a free market will correct your greediness. If you get too fearful, a free market will correct that greed, and it will do it naturally so. It'll seek the point that it's supposed to go to correct your greed and correct your fear. That's what a free, honest market does. And that's the purpose of volatility. If you want to latch on to this thing like a freaking leech, that you have no loyalty to Bitcoin, you have no loyalty to it, you don't understand what it is, you don't care what it is, all you want to do is sink your dirty little paws into it for some short-term fiat gain, so you apply excessive leverage to it. Bitcoin does not like that. It will do whatever it needs to do to shake off the fleas, to shake off the dirty, nasty flies, the maggots that have latched on its back, and it will shake violently enough for both sides to be taken off. It rewards loyalty. It rewards loyalty with generational wealth. It rewards disloyalty with distance. It will kick your ass off with its volatility and leave your ass in the distance. Its volatility keeps us honest. Its volatility helps reveal who's truly loyal, who truly understands me, and who doesn't. Because if you get kicked off by 15% volatility, 20% volatility, 30% volatility, then you obviously don't know what Bitcoin is. You have not hit the books enough. You have not studied enough, and therefore you don't deserve generational wealth. You don't deserve the freedom that Bitcoin's come to deliver for you. It is the ultimate test for your financial IQ. Bitcoin's volatility is the ultimate test for your conviction and for what you know, your Bitcoin IQ and your financial IQ. Because if you get rid of Bitcoin just because of some dip, you get rid of it for what? For the very same thing that Bitcoin's come to free you from. A fiat currency that is designed to steal your life away by 2% every year at best, and by 10 to 12% every year at worst. So you exchange freedom just because of a little hiccup to go back to your freaking prison cell. You're a jailbird. And if that's where you belong, then that's where you belong. I believe that it's no secret by now that despite the fact that I've been trading markets for 43 years, I am vehemently against trading Bitcoin. because Bitcoin is what you should be trading for, not what you should be trading. You're always trading something for something else. So whenever you sell Bitcoin, you are selling Bitcoin for something else. And the something else can't possibly be more superior than Bitcoin. So it's a low IQ move to me. If Bitcoin is the most superior asset on planet Earth, and I'm telling you it is, volatility and all, then what you have to be low IQ to be trading it to go back to prison. You have to be low IQ to sell freedom to go back to being a slave. You have to have low IQ to sell Bitcoin, which is the ultimate protection against financial fiat debasement, to go back to fiat debasement. It means that you're low IQ. What do I mean by low IQ? You still don't know what Bitcoin is. You still don't know what Bitcoin solves. You still don't know what money is. You still don't know that every second you are holding a US dollar, a Japanese yen, an Argentinian peso, a European euro, that you're getting poorer every single second you hold that thing. If Bitcoin were controlled like the stock market was controlled, it would have had 2 halts today at least. It would have halted at 7% down, and it would have halted at 13% down. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bitcoin dropped about 15% from high to low. I could be wrong with that, but I believe with that. I believe more or less. I also believe, Bitcoiners, traders, followers, supporters, haters, all of you. I'm addressing all of you. I also believe that this word manipulation is just too loosely used when applied to Bitcoin. I want you to try to get this into your nugget, into your thick skulls. Bitcoin cannot be manipulated. I hear this word being assigned to Bitcoin every single day. Every dip is manipulation. And the bears, every move up is manipulation. It's bullshit. Bitcoin cannot be manipulated. Let me just tell you this. How do you manipulate 12 to 24 words? Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? How do you do that? How do you manipulate my Bitcoin? I have Bitcoin in cold storage. It is cryptographically secured. My Bitcoin is literally my 12 words. I have these 12 words with me at all times. I can travel anywhere in the world and my wealth and my values with me. How the hell is my 12 words, my Bitcoin, manipulated? This is applying traditional financial possibilities, things that have always existed in markets that are created and controlled by human beings, to one that is not created or controlled by human beings. It doesn't fit there. You can't manipulate Bitcoin. No one can manipulate the next block that's coming out in the next 10 minutes. No one can manipulate the halving that will take place somewhere around April 21st, 2024. No one can manipulate, change, or halt or influence in any way the difficulty rate that happens every 2016 blocks. You can't bring it down. You can't halt it. You can't stop it. You can't ban it. You can't manipulate it. You can't touch it. You can't control it. You can't do anything with it. Bitcoin is outside of the reach of any type of control or manipulation whatsoever. And so this comes down to a lack of understanding about what Bitcoin really is. So some people confuse the fact that they confuse the US dollar denominated price for Bitcoin. Listen to me carefully, you Einsteins out there. The price of something is not the something. I'm going to repeat that. The price of something is not the something that is priced. In a very real sense, one Bitcoin is just simply one Bitcoin. It doesn't really have a price. But if you approach Bitcoin from your shitcoin, from your slave money, from the coupon that the elites that control your slave plantation, whatever country you happen to by chance be born on, that's a slave plantation. That slave plantation, that country, the elites that control it made up their own money, their own coupon, and they force everyone who's born on that piece of land to give up their life for their piece of money, their fiat currency, their coupon that they created and painted the numbers on. We're going to paint this slip of paper with the number 1, and we're going to paint this slip of paper with the number 10, and this slip of paper is going to have 2 zeros after the 1. That's going to be 100. This is slave money. You have no choice. You just, because you were born on the property that they now control, you have to give up your time, your labor, your life for the pieces of paper that they create, they control, and they set the price for. And Bitcoin frees you from this. But if you approach freedom through the eyes of your slave money, then it does have a price. You see, if you approach Bitcoin, if you put on the glasses called the Australian dollar, you will see one price for Bitcoin. If you take those glasses off and put on a different set of shit coin glasses, right, called the Japanese yen glasses, you will see a different price. If you take the Argentinian peso glasses and put those on, you will see a different price for Bitcoin. If you put the Argentinian peso glasses down and you pick up the almighty US dollar glasses and put those bad boys on, you will see yet a different price. But the thing that you're seeing never really changes. The only difference is which glasses you decide to put on. You see, the US dollar denominated price of Bitcoin is not Bitcoin. That is the US dollar that is the US dollar's opinion of what Bitcoin is. But opinions aren't what it is. When you get this, price just starts to fall away. It just becomes an exchange rate. How much more of freedom can I get with these pieces of shit? That's the only purpose that the price has. Oh, wait a minute. I can transfer more shit. I can get more freedom for less shit now. That's the only purpose for putting on the glasses of your shitcoin fiat currency is to determine how much more of freedom you can get. That's it. If you're forced to work for these pieces of shit, right? Then why not transfer them to the superior item when you can get more of the superior item for fewer pieces of the shit? That's buying the dips. That's buying the declines. That's making the transfer on the red, not on the green. I'm constantly telling you, I love the color red with Bitcoin. We buy the red bars. We buy the dips. We buy the declines. Why? Because we can get more freedom for less shit. When you're buying the green, which is fine too, you're getting more free. You're getting freedom for more shit. But on the red, you're getting more freedom for less shit, which means that you can pack the shit on to get larger amounts of freedom. If Bitcoin has never failed you people in 15 years, if Bitcoin has never failed a dip buyer, never, think about this. It's never failed once. What can you point to in life today and can honestly say, that's never failed me? Everything in your life has failed you. Think about this, people. Take a moment right now and think about this. Every single thing in your life has failed you. Your significant other has failed you at one point or another. Your children have failed you at one point or another. Your parents have failed you at one point or another. Your community, your banks, your financial institutions, your political party, your government. Some might even think they're God. Your friends, everything you know has failed you at one point or another, except Bitcoin. Bitcoin has never failed a dip buyer. Bitcoin has never failed a bear market accumulator. Never in 15 years. And I'm here to tell you, it is I believe this with every fiber of my being and every ounce of blood flowing right now, pumping through my veins, that it will never fail you. You know why Bitcoin will never fail you buying a dip, will never fail you buying a bear market decline? Because the shit coins out there called fiat currencies, the dollar, the Argentinian peso, the Japanese yen, the European euro, the Turkish lira, they will never stop stealing from you. And because they will never stop going down, because their purchasing power will never stop declining, because they will never stop stealing from you, Bitcoin will never stop rising. Because fiat currencies have no bottom, Bitcoin has no top. It is specifically designed to be the mirror opposite. It is the mirror opposite of theft. It's the mirror opposite of debasement. It's the mirror opposite of stealing wealth from you. The only way Bitcoin begins to fail us going to the upside is if all of a sudden every fiat currency in the world became honest. Every government, every political party, and all existing monies became suddenly sound, held their value, and even rose in value, rose in purchasing power. Ha! In what world do you think that's going to happen? Not in this world. I'm always joking like this. I don't know what other worlds have or how things operate in other worlds. I have yet to do intergalactic travel, but I will tell you this right now. In this world, our world, on this planet, our planet, that will never happen. And because theft from the masses will never happen, will never stop, Bitcoin will never stop rising because it is the mirror opposite of theft itself. The US dollar's been declining from the moment the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. And it will never stop declining forever until it's gone. And some people say, well, Oliver, come on now, the US dollar gone, come on. What are you talking about? The average fiat currency's lifespan is about 27 to 35 years. Do you know how many fiat currencies have existed in the past that no longer exist. There are fiat currencies that have died in your lifetime. There are fiat currencies, new fiat currencies that have popped up brand new because the old one died in your lifetime. Look at the euro. Most of you were alive before there was something called the euro. There was the Italian lira. Where's that? There was the French franc. Where is that floating around today? There was the German mark. Where is that today? All fiat currencies go to the fiat currency cemetery, and most of them go between 27 and 35 years. Now, there's the world reserve fiat currencies, like the US dollar has the privilege of being the world reserve currency now. They have a different lifespan. Their lifespan is about 100 to 150 years old. Well, guess what, buddy? Guess where the US dollar's lifespan is today? Dead smack in the middle of 100 to 150 years. And guess what's rising from the ashes, from the earth, to be the next one? I believe that the fiat currency experiment is coming to an end. This experiment where all countries, all powers that be throughout the world operate with a money that is decreed by the elite, by the powers that be, a money that they force their citizens to work for by coercion, under the threat of imprisonment. This experiment that the world decided to take on is coming to an end. Bitcoin is here to squash that shit. It is the new era. It is the new paradigm shift. And I believe that there are a few that understand this. That is why they are secretly accumulating Bitcoin. Oh, yes, there are nation states that are secretly accumulating Bitcoin, and we will find out sooner rather than later who they are. This is why countries all over the world are covertly, and some not so covertly, setting up massive Bitcoin mining machines. These are not stupid people. They see the writing on the wall. Every currency is failing in the entire world. It is not a successful experiment. And Bitcoin is rising and shining a light, a bright light on all the world's failing currencies. And these moments, when it comes back for you, you disrespect it. You show massive ignorance and disloyalty to its very own benevolence. Despite it never failing a dip buyer or a bear market buyer. Never. In fact, I don't even really like to use that term applied to Bitcoin bear market, because Bitcoin doesn't have bear markets. Bitcoin has pauses. Bitcoin has benevolent pauses that come back for us. Bitcoin's been in a 15-year freaking bull market. It doesn't have bear markets. It just comes back for us. Facebook today, Instagram, WhatsApp, Google, Amazon, and all the others, almost all of them had outages today. You can pretty much say the only thing on earth that didn't have an outage today, despite being down 15%, was Bitcoin. Not a single hitch, not a single glitch, not a single hesitation. Not a single freaking pause, not an outage, not a breakage, no static, nothing. Try to wrap your mind around this. I know I'm going to sound crazy, but just try to wrap your mind around this. What if Bitcoin was conscious? What if it is aware? What if follow this experiment with me. Think about this. Smoke on this. No human being runs Bitcoin. Everything on planet Earth is run by human beings. Every network, every protocol, every computer, every piece of technology is actually run by human beings. There's only one thing on this planet that human beings do not operate or run at all. That's Bitcoin. That's not strange to you. That's not mind-blowing to you that human beings don't run this thing. You can't point to anything else that is not run by human beings. Human beings run everything on planet Earth except Bitcoin. That's not freaking mind-blowing to you people. Let's look at something else. Human beings actually work for Bitcoin. Are you freaking kidding me? Bitcoin employs human beings. Wait, people, listen to me. What network in the world employs human beings outside of Bitcoin? Think about this. Is there a network that says, listen, here's my pay schedule. I pay out every 10 minutes. Any one of you bozo human beings that want to work for me, you can. I pay out every 10 minutes. These are the rules that you have to abide by to receive my payment. It's a competition. Now let the best bozo human being win. Now go. What other freaking network in the world has a pay schedule for human beings that has laid out the rules for human beings to abide by and that actually pays on time every 10 minutes to the winning human being? Are you freaking kidding me? This is not mind-blowing to you people? That doesn't seem like it's conscious, that it's aware? What network can't be shut down by a human being? There's only one, Bitcoin. What network in the world, what protocol in the world, what piece of technology in the world that can't be halted or stopped or manipulated or controlled in any way by human beings? There isn't any except one, Bitcoin. What does Bitcoin do if human beings quit and say, you know what, I don't want to work. I don't want to work for the protocol anymore. And a whole bunch of human beings leave and they quit the job. They quit their employment with Bitcoin. What does it do? It says, all right, okay. Every 2,116 blocks, I'll just adjust myself for that. 20% of the employees left. All right, I'll bring myself down to be perfectly efficient to 20% less. And what if more human beings, what if so many human beings come on that actually the number of humans that are now working to get paid by Bitcoin double? Bitcoin says, well, okay, wait a minute. Exactly at 2,116 blocks, I'm going to adjust my difficulty to keep the competition at just the right level for the doubled employees working for me. Are you freaking kidding me? You can't take in these things, these facts, and not at least entertain the idea that this is a living species. It's alive. Anybody, am I dating myself? Does anybody remember those movies? It's alive. It's alive again. They had like 17,000 of these movies, right? It's alive once more. I'm dating myself, guys. I'm an old guy. I understand. But there was this series of movies called It's Alive, you know? It's alive. It's alive again. It's alive yesterday. It's alive tomorrow. It's alive once more. Bitcoin's alive. What item exists today that actually has its own time? People, this is mind-blowing. Bitcoin created its own time that humans now abide by. When's the next block? Oh, 7 minutes from now, 5 minutes from now, 2 minutes from now. Boom, block verified. Now the next one 10 minutes later. Every 10 minutes is a timestamp. On average, every 10 minutes is a timestamp. And guess what? That timestamp is marked in history forever, and it's immutable, and not a single human being can ever change it. Do you know that in every instance of history throughout the world has been changed by human beings? History is written by the victors, right, of wars. Things are changed according to the perspective of the winner of the war. That's not real history, right? Historians have gone back and changed things around to reflect their current new view. Oh, we can't let that get out. We're going to keep that in the annals. We're going to keep that in the dungeons. We won't release this information because it goes against it goes against our ethos. There has never been true history ever until Bitcoin. But once something gets sealed in a Bitcoin block and it's freaking verified, it will never change forever, for thousands, millions of years. At a certain point, I see where the only history any human being will ever respect or have confidence in is if it's on the Bitcoin blockchain. If it can't be verified there, I don't trust it. I don't believe it. Bitcoin's going to write human history. And guys, what is history? When you strip all the bells and whistles and all the flowery definitions away from history, what is history at its core? It is recording the transactions between human beings. That's all history is. What happened between human beings? That's all history is. It's recording the relationships, the trades, the actions, the transactions that have happened between this empire and that empire, this company and that company, this person and that person, this group and that group, this political party and that political party. Whatever the case is, it's simply recording transactions between human beings. That's what history is, and that's what frickin' Bitcoin is. It's a true history keeper that is true, that is verifiable by any and every human being on earth. You can verify the entire history all the way back to the beginning. A new world for humans began on January 9th, January 3rd, 2009. A world where all recorded history from 2009 really counts. And everything before 2009 is bullshit. that 2009 start the era of real, true, free markets. And before 2009, all markets were bullshit. Starting in 2009, a global employer came on the scene to employ every single human being on earth. Do you understand me? There will be a point where every human being works for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin will be the payer of every single human being on earth. And before 2009, the concept of full employment was bullshit. And why wouldn't every human being work for what is holding and protecting their life, their wealth, their future? Why wouldn't you work for that? Why wouldn't the best engineers work for where their whole future is being protected and held and being multiplied? Why wouldn't the best engineers, the best architects, the best software developers, the best entrepreneurs, the best everything is going to work for Bitcoin? And people say, when I tell people this, some people say, well, Oliver, come on, man, you're going off the deep end, Oliver. Oliver, I can't take it that far, Oliver. You're going off the deep end. You're sounding very weird, Oliver. Oliver, you're sounding weird. And I get it sometimes. I've always been told I'm a little weird. But I ask you this. Didn't that happen with the internet? Think about this, people. Didn't the internet start off with just a few people believing in it and then working for it? And then a few companies? And now almost everyone in the world serves the internet. You can't even have dinner with your kids without them serving the internet, right? You ever go on a train or a plane and stand up in the middle of and before the plane takes off? Every single person sitting down is serving the internet. I go back to visit New York City every now and then. Everybody crossing the street is serving the internet. They're not even watching the cars. If your business is not serving the internet, you don't exist anymore. You're dead. The internet drew in the best architects, the best programmers, the best software developers. The internet drew in the best mathematicians. The internet drew in for itself the best of the best of the best. And today, almost every human being serves the internet. And Bitcoin is the internet of money. That's bigger than the internet itself. And yes, every single human being, every single corporation, every single company, every single entity, every single group, every single government, every single human being will serve Bitcoin. And why not? Because now it's more important than the internet, because Bitcoin is what stores my life. Bitcoin is what stores my energy. Bitcoin is what stores my very soul, my very future. The future generations of my bloodline are inside of this network. Why shouldn't I serve it? Why shouldn't I pay homage to it? Why shouldn't I give it my best? It's taking care of me, and it's multiplying me, my value, and my wealth every freaking 4 years of its life. Why would I work for anything else? Nothing else in existence does that for me. Nothing else doesn't lie to me. Everything else lies to me. Everything fails me. Everything breaks its promise to me except Bitcoin. Why shouldn't I give it my life? Why shouldn't I give it my loyalty? Why shouldn't I give it my skill, my education, my energy, and all of my time? Why? Why shouldn't I? It's the only thing that hasn't failed me. It's the only thing that never broke its promise. It's the only thing that I can literally verify all the way back to the beginning. It's the only thing that's true. It's the only thing that another man can't take from me. It's the only thing that another man can't steal from me. It's the only thing that another man can control or manipulate or trick me out of. Why shouldn't I give my life to that? You guys are letting these little baby fluctuations trick you out of the biggest wealth opportunity human beings have ever come in contact with. You are putting yourself in a position of missing out on a generational wealth opportunity that has never existed before. You weren't around when they were having land runs in the United States, giving away acres and acres and acres of land away for free. You weren't there, but you're here now, where you can stake your claim in a new America that is available to every human being according to his merit, his value, his energy, and his time. Everyone can stake a claim here. It is permissionless. It is free. It is open. And it wants to serve you. It wants to give to you. But mark my words, it will demand loyalty from you. It will test you. It will test your conviction. It will find out whether you are true to yourself. And if you can't be true to yourself, how can you be true to it? It will sniff out the grifters and destroy them. Those who just want to hitch a short-term ride, it will squash them. It is here to serve those who understand what it is, who develop some conviction and can display for one time in their life some freaking loyalty. For once in your life, find some loyalty. For once. And if there's anything that is worthy of your loyalty, it's the thing that has never lied to you, that has broken every other record that you've held dear about something, that has never broken a promise, gone back on its word, and has always come back to save you from every single dip and decline it's ever experienced. You can't say that about anything else on planet Earth except Bitcoin. Get yourself some, and find some freaking loyalty. All right, guys. That's all I got for you today. I hope you guys, I know my style can be a bit different and sometimes harsh at times, but love is tough sometimes, guys. I am not here to necessarily be nice to you. And I know some people want that. I've actually had some people say, well, Oliver, why are Bitcoin maxis so toxic, or why are they so harsh sometimes and loud and unwavering, and why aren't they nicer and more polite? And I think that, and I understand that, but you know where I think that comes from? Well, it comes from a soft society. That's, society tends to have its societies like everything else come and go, but they come and then they go over a variety of stages. And one of the last stages is when almost everyone is soft. Everyone is soft, and you can't speak to them a certain way. Oliver, you're not being nice to me. I don't like the words you're using, Oliver. Speak to me differently, Oliver. You're scaring me, Oliver. You're scary. But I think that I think that the once you continue to go deeper and deeper down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, you begin to lose your tolerance for slavery, for theft, for nonsense. And you almost regard the current situation like a burning building. And so if you were trapped inside of a burning building and you were sound asleep in your bed and you were unaware that the building is on fire and that if you don't get your ass up out of bed, you are going to die. Now, if I run into the building to try to save you, to try to wake you up, wake your ass up, do you want me to whisper, Johnny, I don't want to be too harsh. I just wanted to let you know I'm going to try to do this in a lullaby. I'm going to be nice and I don't want to damage your sensibilities, but the house is on fire, Johnny. And I'm sorry if I'm speaking too loudly here, but if you don't wake up, your ass is going to be burnt to a crisp. You want me to do it like that? Or do you want me to violently take you by your frickin' shoulders, by the collar of your neck, shake you as hard as I possibly frickin' can, and say, get the fuck up, bozo. The house is on fire. Get out. But Oliver, no, but nothing. If you stay here, you're going to die. But Oliver, my sneakers, forget your sneakers. But wait a minute, my shiny little altcoin here, forget that nonsense. That's a distraction right now. The house is on fire. Do you understand? Get the hell out. And that's more of the attitude that almost by osmosis comes over a Bitcoin maximalist, because they start to lose the tolerance for, but wait a minute, I know you told me that the house is on fire, but there should be no but, dude. What are you talking about? The house is on fire. But Oliver, wait a minute, let me sit down and think about this. No. Wait a minute, let me go get my favorite little shiny trinket. No. But Oliver, man, what about these altcoins over here? No. What are you talking about? Let's get free, and then you can do all of that nonsense. Anyway, that's the attitude that a lot of us take on, and it gets tiring. It gets tiring with the buts. But Oliver, yeah, the house is on fire. But Oliver, what about this? The house is on fire. But Oliver, the house is on fire. But Oliver, the house is on fire. But Oliver. That gets freaking tiring at times, It's tough love, though. I don't ask you for a single penny. I don't need your money. I don't even need your freaking likes. You can keep your likes. Most of you don't like my shit anyway. That's okay. I don't need your likes. I don't need your follows. All I ask, just look. Look at the flames around you. That's all. Just look. I'm telling you the house is on fire. And this is the exit sign, right? So look, I'm pointing to the exit sign. And then I'm pointing to all the fires that are around you that are coming closer and closer and closer to you, your family, and your future, right? Listen, that's the exit sign right there. All I ask is that you look. That's it. Just look. All right? Don't buy into BS. Don't get distracted with something shiny over here when the house is on fire. I don't ask you. I even have things that you can sign up for. I don't ask you here to sign up for anything. I don't promote anything except look at Bitcoin. Freaking look. And not just cursory. Roll up your sleeves and give this 10 hours of your life. And then that 10 hours will become 100 hours and 1,000 hours if you do the 10 hours right. And you'll do it with joy. You can't get enough of freedom, guys. All right, guys. GR Trade says, I will honor these lessons for the rest of my life. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. As I mentioned last time, guys, very few people have the courage or take the courage to say something positive. We live in such a distorted society today that it is almost more acceptable to be negative than it is to be positive. And this creates a shyness about being positive. So anyone who steps up to the plate in the midst of that kind of environment and dares say something positive, I really appreciate that, because I know that's not easy in today's society. It's easier just to complain about something or to call someone a scammer. That word is thrown around very loosely here today and stuff like that. That's very easy to do. It's not easy to give someone honor or praise or anything like that. So whenever I receive it, it's something that I do deeply, deeply appreciate. Guys, listen, I've got to run. I apologize for not having time to take any of your questions, but you know what to do. If you found anything that I've said here tonight of interest, understand that every single one of these live spaces does wind up on my Bitcoin podcast called Bitcoin Unleashed. Bitcoin Unleashed is on YouTube. It's getting very few views, but that's okay. I don't worry about those things, guys. I don't ever worry about the number of people, the likes, the follow. I never worry about that. I don't care. I don't do what I do for the moment. I think 10 years down the line, people coming back to read my thread. I think 15 down the lines, people listening to my Bitcoin Unleashed episodes. I think like that. It's low time preference. I really don't care about this moment. And I will speak to one person with the same passion that I speak to 1,000 people. It makes zero difference to me. All right? I try to approach this like a rose. A rose in the middle of a meadow, in the middle of a valley, where a human being hasn't passed for weeks, will still be a rose in all of its glory, in all of its uniqueness. It won't stop because there isn't someone there. It won't stop just because there's no one there to see it. I don't care if there's no one here to listen to me at this moment. I know 10 years from now, there will be. I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying right now or like my post. 10 years from now, there are going to be a lot more likes. I know that. So get over to your podcasting platform of choice. Look up Bitcoin Unleashed, Spotify, Fountain app, Google, Apple, whatever. And if you found anything of interest here, I want to let you know that I do speak harshly sometimes and I throw around the word bozo a lot, but I do really love you guys. I appreciate everyone who's here today. I truly appreciate you. I honor you. I promise I will do my very best to give everything that I know or have, the limited amount that I have, all the way up to 100,000 Bitcoin, and then I'm out. I'm out. All right. And that is a promise. Until then, guys, you know what to do. Go to work. Stack harder. Ciao for now. Oh. My name is Oliver Velez, and I am your 13%er Bitcoiner.
Be safe out there, and until next time. Boom!